Hi everyone, so today my sister and I will be doing a review on the HomeWorx by Slatkin & Co 18-ounce forward candle in the scent Sugared Lychee Martini. The retail price, if it is available on the Slatkin & Co website, which currently it is not, but that retail price is $30. I found this on, well, it's not on sale, but the retail price of $10.99 at Ross plus tax. My pour date is December 18th, 2023, so this has been curing for almost 3 years. The description online when it was available on the QVC website, which they normally sell them in duo packs, that's also sold out, but it said, quench your thirst for a sweet and intoxicating fragrance to fill your home, making any time of the day a happy hour. Notes: a blend of chilled vodka, sweet lychees, raw cane sugar, and a hint of vermouth. Burn time is approximately 30 to 55 hours. This is made with soy paraffin blend and made in Vietnam. So sister, what did you think about the scent on cold? Do you get the notes that are listed, like the vodka, the lychee, the raw cane sugar, vermouth? Or how would you describe the scent?
Yeah, alcohol-y, lychee. Yeah, I think it's
authentic.
I feel like the label is a good representation of what I smell.
When I read that it had vodka, I personally don't really get that. I get more of a wine scent. So I think that's one thing, is that if you're looking for a vodka scent, which to my nose, it always smells like rubbing alcohol. I don't get that from the candle. I get more of this like non-bubbly wine, like a smooth wine type of a scent. And I also detect almost this like creamy floral. A floral note isn't listed, but I know that lychees can sometimes have a floral taste and smell. It's normally a little bit like similar to a rose. And I think I do get that here, even though it is not listed in the fragrance notes. But okay, sister, what would you get the strength on cold?
I think it's pretty strong. Solid medium.
Solid medium? Okay, so my sister has already burned one completely all the way down. She burned it in her smaller bedroom. It is located in a corner. There are two doors or hallways leading. So it's kind of like a corner room. It's not really closed off. I am burning this in my larger, I think it's considered a master bedroom, but let's just say medium-sized bedroom. And mine is at the end of a hallway. So different, I guess, environments. And I think we have had different experiences, strength and throw wise. So what would you say was the strength while it was burning?
The initial couple burns were pretty strong. I'd say medium strong.
And I think you mentioned that you initially got more of the wine note than the lychee, right?
It's funny. I used wine before I realized it was vodka, but yeah, I would say it's more of the alcohol.
And you got more of the fruity lychee towards the bottom?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I think I kind of cut you off. You said the throw was it a medium?
Oh, medium strong-ish in the first couple burns. And then when it got to the midway point, I feel like it became more well-balanced. Initially, it was more like I was getting more of the alcohol note or the wine or whatever, marked vodka. And then towards the middle, I felt like it became more well-balanced. I could pick up more of the lychee and the other notes. Yeah, and then towards the end, of course, less wax, so it wasn't as strong.
Right.
But it didn't become unscented to me.
So you would say that this is one of the HomeWorx candles that starts off stronger and then kind of gets a little bit weaker as it goes down?
Yes.
As opposed to, I know some HomeWorx candles have it where it starts off a bit weak and then it picks up towards the end. Okay. And then I wrote down that when my sister was burning hers, her candle, her wicks did lean. And I found that to be the case. I am currently burning it. Right now I have about maybe like 20% left of the candle. But also my sister was burning hers before we had the AC going more often. So I think the ambient temperature of the house was a little bit warmer. So that could also explain why she felt that it was a solid medium. For me, I felt like mine ranged anywhere, strength on warm, burning it in my environment, it was anywhere from like a 5 to a 7. The 5 was when the AC was going, and we only have it set to 77, so it's not even it's not even that cold. And I didn't have it in a hurricane. And then when it was a 7, that was when I didn't have it in the hurricane. We didn't have the air on, and my door was slightly ajar. As far as projection goes, I feel like it does extend a little bit past my doorway, especially when the AC isn't going. However, it doesn't necessarily fill up the entire space. If you were to go to all 4 corners of my room, maybe only 2 of the corners would have the scent like really saturated. So it kind of has pockets in my room. At least that's what I think. But let me go ahead and show you an overhead view. Maybe take off the hurricane. I've currently had this going for about 2.5 hours, so you can kind of get an idea of how the wicks look. All right, so here's an overhead view of the candle. You might notice that my wax pool is fully liquefied already, but there are some mushroom top fallouts, especially in the middle. And you might also notice that my wicks look a little wonky. So these wicks on Sugared Lychee Martini, both in my sister's candle and my candle, they do have a tendency to lean. So after I extinguish the candle, I have to get a wick dipper or like a chopstick and kind of push them back into place, but they haven't leaned, fallen over or anything. Even though there is mushroom top fallout, that's not, at least when I've been burning it both in a hurricane and outside of a hurricane, it just kind of crumbles down, but it doesn't get so top heavy that the wick just, kind of gives up. So for my first burn, I didn't trim my wicks or use a hurricane. I did have the AC on, and I could smell it a little bit after about 30 minutes, but it became comfortably noticeable without searching for the scent after about an hour and 30 minutes. That is when I really smelled it, and it got an even wax pull at around the 3-hour mark. That first burn, I did burn it for about 4 hours. So something that I've noticed, at least with Sugared Lychee Martini, it could be because the temperature in Los Angeles is starting to get up towards the high 90s that the air is on. So I find myself, since I really enjoy strong candles, I think more so than a lot of people, I find that I often with a scent that is a bit lighter, I try to burn it for a longer period of time or keep it in a hurricane to add more heat so I can smell it. Sometimes it does help. Like for example, with this candle, I feel like once I pass the hour and 30-minute mark, I think it becomes a scent that I am enjoying a lot more, the strength and throw, versus when it's only been burning for about 30 minutes. It's not necessarily that I can't smell it, but I am just enjoying it more towards the later part of the burn. And I've been burning it for about 4 to 4.5 hours each time, which that would also explain the mushroom top fallout. Perhaps if you were only burning it for maybe like 2 hours or like an hour, this might not be the case. But yeah, here's an overhead view. I really like how the label looks illuminated. All right, so overall, I really love the label of this candle. I like that it has martini glasses all over. While I personally don't think it has a heavy vodka note, I do like the smooth wine note that it carries and that it uses lychee, which I hardly see that note being used, especially in more mainstream candles like Bath and Body Works or Goose Creek. I think that there is a juiciness to it, but at the same time, I am getting this underlying floral note, which if you're familiar with lychee, there are different varieties. And the sweetest one, if I'm not mistaken, is called the Sweetheart Lychee. And I have a feeling that if there was a specific lychee note used, it might have been that because it is a little bit sweet, but I wouldn't say it's cloying. So sister, your final thoughts on this candle? Would you repurchase it? And if so, how much? And would you recommend?
I thought the candle was pretty good for $10.99. Oh yeah.
So would you repurchase it for $15?
No.
No? How about 17?
No. I think my limit's maybe 14, but I like the 10.
Okay, so
maybe 12.
Okay, so this isn't a scent that you love so much that you would go out of your way to get it at a higher price point, but you do enjoy it.
I enjoy it. There's no luggage.
Okay.
I mean, there's the ones I love are in my closet. This one was just good.
So this is a scent that you like.
Yeah,
but you don't like it. Okay, gotcha.
Exactly.
All right. I personally would recommend this candle, but it's a little bit tricky because of the wick leaning situation. But if you're used to dealing with that, and HomeWorx candles, then maybe you're willing to put up for it. Definitely for $10.99, I think you should try it out. I don't know if I would recommend it if you were to find it on the Slatkin and Co website, because it does retail for a higher price. Maybe if there was a really good deal, it was half off and you could stack an affiliate code or an ambassador code. I'm not an ambassador or an affiliate for anything. So if the price was right, maybe. I do enjoy that this fragrance, I feel like, doesn't smell cheap to me.
Oh yeah, no.
I feel like it's like a wine scent, because I normally don't really like wine fragrances, because oftentimes your typical one, I feel like, is made with grape, and I don't necessarily like that scent. But this is like a nice tropical take on it while still retaining this like almost like feminine. At times I almost think this smells slightly body care-ish because of the creamy note that again isn't listed. But yeah, no, this is a good take on a wine fragrance. Again, I don't smell the vodka. My sister says that she kind of does.
I smell alcohol. And like, by that I meant like an alcoholic drink.
An alcoholic drink.
But yeah, no, every time that I would like give you my notes or like reference it, I would always say wine, even though you're like, there's no wine in here.
Well, I think the vermouth could be, I think that's a wine, but not vodka.
Well, then again, yeah, I haven't had vodka in a while, and the last thing I remember about it is that, yeah, it's just like very sharp, like rubbing alcohol.
Like you inhale a breath of like,
and then just immediately start coughing.
Okay, yeah, you definitely don't cough on this. All right, my sister just said something. Repeat what you said. I thought that was a good take.
Oh, I think this is like a nice, this candle reminds me of like a nice, like a ladies candle, like, you know, like a
girls brunch.
Yeah, like ladies that like to go out, you know, for a girls' day, or even like a mom's day, getting, you know, having like a drink and, you know, just girl power.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, if you like wine type fragrances, even if you're like a guy or anything, you know, candles have no genders, right? But but yeah, no, that's I think that's also the scenario or the picture that I paint when I have this candle burning. I personally would burn it pretty much year round, maybe not in the winter time if I was more of a seasonal person. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy that I have another candle. Would I have necessarily gotten it at $15 maybe to try out? But at $10.99, if you see it, I would say grab it. But yeah, that is it for my review. Oh, and my sister too, and her thoughts and opinions on it.
Oh yeah, get my 2 cents in there.
Yeah, but thanks for watching. Okay,
bye.